Right. Well, we've had certainly plenty of time here to focus on the Jets, and very impressive win that they had last week against Dallas. They played well in all three phases of the game. Had a lot of big plays offensively and defensively as well. Big fourth down stop, big 2-point play stop. So, very talented team. Got a lot of guys that are hard to block on the front. Coach Williams has an excellent pressure package, and he does a good job keeping the offense off balance. Adams, as we've talked about, is, I think, one of the best game planners in the game, and does an excellent job of attacking defenses and just making it tough to to handle what they do offensively. Their different personnel groups and plays, and his play calling. So he did a very good job of that against Dallas, and hit some big plays, kept them off balance, and it's very productive. So big 2-minute drive at the end of the half. Probably the difference in the game. That and the long pass to Anderson. So a lot of good players, a lot to get ready for, and Monday night's always a high energy game. So we'll point to that, and it'll be tough down there in New York. So need to have a good week here if you're ready to go.
So you please raise your hand. We'll point to questions. Go ahead, Mark.
Bill, just on Michael Bennett, what happened with him that led to a suspension this week?
Yeah, I'm not going to comment on any player's personal situation. So.
Kai?
Bill, Mary's Thomas called it disrespectful and insulting the way the trade went down this September. Do you have any regrets about how that whole situation played out?
Yeah, look, Damaris is a great kid. I have a ton of respect for him. He's very professional and did everything we asked him to do. Our circumstances changed a couple times in that period leading up to when he was traded. And so I felt like I was always truthful with him, but things changed, and therefore what I said was not the same as what I'd said previously. So it is what it is.
Great, Tom.
Bill, what do you see as a role for Michael Bennett going forward for the rest of the season?
Yeah, right now we're focused on the Jets. So that's what we're working on.
Go ahead, Phil.
Bill, when it comes to bringing aboard a veteran player who's had success in a certain system, and then you bring him to your system and maybe he's asked to do some different things, how difficult, in your experience, how difficult can that be sometimes for players?
Yeah, well, I don't know. They'd have to ask the player that. Varies probably from player to player.
4 weeks may not be a huge amount of time in life, but in football it can be. How different is this Jets team that is now following the Cowboys game than it was when they came here in week 3?
Yeah, well, the quarterback makes a big difference. They've gotten other players back on both sides of the ball. And again, as I think I mentioned earlier, Coach Gase had the bye week and probably had an opportunity to get some things reworked. That was obvious in the Dallas game, that their execution and some of the things they were doing, they're just more efficient at and look better doing them. So, he's an excellent coach. Coach Williams is an excellent coach. Coach Boyer's an excellent coach. They've done a good job improving their team every week, and certainly showed it on Sunday against Dallas.
Henry McKinnon in the back.
You said Adam Gase was one of the best game planners in the game.
Well, that we face. Faced him several times here in recent years, so I'd certainly put him up there based on that, yeah.
So what would you say goes into that for him? What makes him so good? What makes
everything.
You said everything?
Yeah. Game planning, play calling, strategy, use of personnel, use of plays. All things that go into it. It's not one thing.
Does he have a specific style, I guess, that makes him...
Yeah, he attacks each defense based on the personnel matchups that he can create differently from week to week. He'll tell you that. He said it after the Dallas game. It's obvious.
Joe Chiara, to your right.
Bill, how much is Sam Darnold improved from last time he was around Vegas last year?
Oh, he's a good quarterback. We saw him at the end of the year last year. He played in the Buffalo game, but he can make all the throws. Big, strong kid, can run. Short, intermediate, deep. He's got good weapons. You know, Anderson's a great deep receiver. Crowder, Barrios, very good players in the slot. Bell obviously is, you know, how many backs better than him in the league in terms of the running game and the passing game. They can split him out. They can get him the ball in the backfield. He's a very versatile player. So, again, they have a good scheme, good play caller, good strategy, and have a lot of good weapons.
Tom Curran? Tom Curran.
Okay. Hey, what's allowed Adam Butler to make the jump that he seemingly has from last year? Is it a number of different things?
He's been a consistent player for us for 3 years. I mean, like anybody, he gets better, like we all do, with experience and reps and technique and so forth. But he's been a solid player for us for 3 years.
So not a different level this year than the
I
previous?
said he's improved. I think he's improved like all of us have, like a lot of players do. Third-year players are better than second-year players. Second-year players are better than they were in the first year. I mean, that's obvious. But it's been steady. I don't think it's been it's dramatic. It's been good. It's consistent. But he's played a lot of good football for us.
Bill, with personnel back on defense too since the last time you faced the Jets, how have the pressure packages evolved, and along with that, Jamal Adams, how's he being deployed in that defense?
Yeah, they mix it up. Yeah, I don't know if the packages are any different. You know, Coach Williams is a good game plan coach, so he'll do things differently from week to week based on what the offense is doing and how he matches up with them and so forth. But you know, it's not like it's a new defense every week. But they change it up, and you know, certainly getting Williams back has helped. And you know, Mosley, if he's back, he's one of the best linebackers in the league. So you know, I mean, getting those kind of players back would help any defense.
Andrew Callahan, got
Bill, what made Eric Tomlinson a player you wanted to work with, and from his experience, do you think he could play fullback here?
Yeah, we'll see. You know, we haven't had a lot of time with him, but we'll work with him and see what kind of role he can develop for himself if there is one. We'll see.
How would you describe his skill set?
He's a bigger guy, probably more of a bigger, has blocking ability. He has been in the backfield. He's played on the line of scrimmage. So I don't know. We'll see how all that plays out.
You mentioned Williams is back for the Jets defense. How has he transitioned from the college game? Obviously, he's a pretty highly touted player coming out of college, but
yeah, I mean, he's big, athletic, hard to block. Just like the rest of those guys in there, McClendon, Leonard. I mean, those guys, they're all a little bit different, but they're all tough to block. They're effective. They run well. They're tough. They're strong. Hold the point of attack well. Pursuit. He made a big play on Prescott in the 4th and 2 play. Came all the way from the other side of the ball and made the play on a quarterback sweep. So he's a good football player.
Do they use him in pretty much every situation? Any down? Or
Yeah. I mean, they have a somewhat of a rotation in there, but he can play on any down.
Any other questions? Craig Kite?
Just what went into the decision to bring back Ben Watson?
We had a roster spot. We had availability. Galk went on IR, so we had an opportunity to put him on the roster that we didn't have the week before.
What's allowed Darnold to, I know he's only played 2 games this year, but it seems like he's performed pretty well even when he's pressured. What allows him to be able to kind of, I guess, elude in those situations and continue to find open receivers?
Yeah, I mean, he's a big, strong kid that can stand in the pocket. He's hard to tackle. He's not an easy guy to bring down. But, he's big. He can see, find guys under pressure. He's got a great outlet receiver in Bell. No question about that. So, it's a guy you can get the ball to. Crowder also is, quick and elusive underneath. Braxton, if he's in there. But those guys are all, instinctive, quick guys that, find space to get open. Bell, Crowder, Bell, Barrios, probably in that order of targets. But, he does a good job keeping those plays alive and giving them a little bit extra time and then finding them.
Would you put him in a similar category with guys like Allen, who,
No.
not
No.
quite as mobile, or just different?
Yeah, I see them differently.
Any other questions? Bob?
Yeah. An off day on a Wednesday following by a couple of extra days of rest after a Thursday before a Monday game. How did you utilize the time? In some ways, do you think you guys are refreshed, whether it's coaching staff, players coming back to work this week, and then getting at it today?
Well, it's, we've been going at it here for a while now, in 6 weeks of training camp and 6 regular season games. We have enough information, I think, to look at from a self-scout standpoint that, it is what it is. It's a third of the season, but that's something to work with. It's not 1 or 2 games, so we can go back and look over some of the things that we've done, where we're at, changes it might make. Give us some more time to review the Jets, get ahead on some of the situational things that I'd say you're always fighting on at this point in the season, just because there's not haven't been a lot of situational plays with this team, so those are starting to accumulate. Give us a little more time there, but I think just trying to prepare ourselves as well as we can for for a big division road game. That's it. But a little more time on self-scout for sure. Okay. All right. Thank you.